I've got goosebumps.
Oh, it's beautiful. I have too. Me too. Both of us, right? Amazing. So, so you said that you had my little voice. In the amount of times I hear that, I'm just thinking, well, are people just like, am I just talking to people out there just like, and I don't even know I'm doing that. But anyway, that's really quite funny. But you know what? I think you were prepared to listen. I think there must have been something. It's you. It's not really me. You know, if you're, like I always say that to everyone that says that to me, if you're responding to what I'm saying, if you're hearing it and it sticks somewhere in you and you kind of think, you know, and it's in the background of your mind and in your heart, like you're knowing something about it, that isn't me. That's actually the real you, but it's coming through, you know, a video, whatever, and you're knowing the truth of that. So there's something very beautiful about that. You know, we have to accept that is us. You know, yes, it comes from the outside, and you kind of forget to give that to me. That is you, and you are prepared to listen to you, to the real you, not that hamster you, right? So that's what we have to think of ourselves, like little hamsters that are going round. And then we go, yeah, sit down, have a rest, have a little drink. That's it. Sit there in the corner. We don't need you right now. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, what have we got? Another one. So how did that moment or experience when you did shift change you, like who you are, to yourself even? Like you said, the real you. So to me, what is she, the real you, like? What is she like? Tell me. To you.
Oh, I think I don't know how to answer that, Elle. I suppose I'm just a lot more relaxed now, to be honest.
Yep.
Everything just coming at me in a good way. You know, it's sort of like, it feels like you have an idea and you think, oh, I could do that, or how could I go about that? And I sort of sit on it now, and all of a sudden it just sort of is coming to me rather than me looking for it. Does that even make sense?
When you say that, you're blowing my mind. So it's so beautiful. What I'm hearing is that you're saying, and like, I really want you to hear this, because you have this too. You have the ability to know what the world is doing, what the world is telling you, how crazy the world is. This we have access to. So I just want to say, to me, what I'm hearing you say, Lucy, is that quiet mama. So therefore you have access to what's deeper inside of you. You know, it's so funny. We kind of think that, oh, if we go all deeper, we're being a hippie, or we're being like all spiritual or whatever. If we take all those labels off all of who and what we are in this world, we find that we have so much capacity and potential. And one of the things that I love about every woman that I get to connect with is that I just go straight into her potential. I have to go into your potential, but I'm not going into your potential in your thinking and your feeling, because I'm not going into the hamster's potential, because I don't see the hamsters having any potential whatsoever. I think that the poor little hamster is just not even, it's just exhausted, and it needs to rest and just go sit in the corner and take time out, you know. And when you're prepared to do that, you get that access. So to me, it sounds like you're grounded. What about with your kids and with your partner? Like, what's going on at home with all of this, and how this is sort of, what's happening there?
Life's just easy. It's great. Like, I honestly don't have a complaint at all. But I don't even know. It's just easy, honestly. There's no, you know, stress. You know, that used to be prior in the mornings, like, come on, team, get out the door, hurry up, get dressed, do this, do this, do this. And now it's just like, do. Everyone does their thing, and it's just easy. And I'm really lucky that I have an amazing supportive partner that is 150% at my side, always supporting and encouraging, and of course you can do it. Always full of positive comments, and what's stopping you, you know?
Isn't
so
it?
I'm very.
And how's your relationship with him? Do you find that you've got more intimacy? You know,
We've always been so close, and he's probably seen more of me than I have at times. So he's pretty encouraging, always has been. And we've always, we're pretty tight. Like, it's not very often we're not together other than work. Like, we're quite happy in each other's company 24/7, which sounds really cheesy, I know.
Oh, no, it's beautiful. And so to me, it sounds like he's getting more of you, of the real you now.
Yeah.
He's getting more of you know, probably what he signed up for in the first place, right? So he's getting to be with you in a more real way. So that offers more intimacy into the relationship, more depth. Something really beautiful about that. I love that. I love that. Maybe that's my favorite. Let me continue on. Okay. Okay. What in this present moment do you find so difficult? That question is not significant because you just said that everything's really easy. So whoever wrote that, someone wrote these questions for me because they're so good at, you know, drawing out things. And I think, yeah, no, that's not the right question for Lucy. She's just cruising, love.
I am cruising.
What are you missing? You missing anything? No, you're not even missing anything, are you?
No, because, well, like, fortunately for us, that we do live on this island and we've got a big moat around the outside of New Zealand, and we're really lucky that, other than, of course, getting on an airplane and going overseas, life is quite normal now, you know. Of course, there is the scaremongers that are worried about the second wave, and I just choose to pray that that won't happen. But honestly, it's business as usual here.
And I think that, you know, if the second wave happens, and if you know, we need to comply and shut down. I mean, we've had to shut down all of our masterclass events and everything. You know, it's been a huge thing for us as well, and our educators and so on. And we're about to do some live streaming masterclasses, which is exciting. But, you know, in the midst of all of that, we need to prioritize in our minds what is most important. And for me, I just, being in that quiet, still space in the midst of whatever is occurring has to come first. Because if you don't go there, you can't take care of your own inner life. You can't take, you know, your children are in your care. You can't take care of them. Can't take care of your relationship. So you're in a mess. So it's kind of like you've really got to, and it seems to me that that's what you've done, and you've just pulled it all together. So all those videos that you watched over all that time, because I always knew you were watching all the time. They just all just came together and you just went, right, this is it. This is the time. Bam.
And I think it was like that too. I thought, well, if I don't do it right now, when will I ever do it?
Yeah.
You know, I can trial it now, and if it doesn't work, I can revert back to that horrible place I was before. But I definitely don't want to. And I knew that if I didn't do it right now, it was going to get harder to do it.
So for me, again, what I'm hearing, ladies, and I really want to involve you in this, is that Lucy made a decision. She made a very conscious decision to create change. Nothing outside changed, apart from that she was locked down, which some people could say is the worst thing ever. But what actually shifted, Lucy, for you was you. You shifted. You had an internal shift. That's what's happened, right? Correct? Yes. And you're grounded in it. You are there and you're solid. You're smiling, you're loving it, you're inspired. If you have an idea, you work with it, you contact me and say, what if I do this? Let me just take over New Zealand. Can I do it? She's not backing down. This is people need to understand. It's not how much you're doing that makes your life amazing and inspires you and fulfills you. It's what you're being. And if you don't have someone around you that is continually, you know, showing you and unraveling all of the distortion inside of you and that poor little hamster, I want you to consider almost that you're like this little hamster and see how tight its little legs are getting. And you have to almost see that, you visualize that and go, you know, am I doing that? And if you're doing that, you've got to stop doing that. And it's going to be scary, but it's going to be fantastic. Look, living proof. I've got so many of them. Lucy's not the only one. This is really happening. And it's not on the front page of the newspaper. So don't read the paper. It's not on the nightly news. Don't watch it. Like, you know, it's kind of sometimes if I see it, I pick up, no, actually, this is where it happens. I go to Woolies, the supermarket, and Toby and I go in and they've got TVs. Like you can't even escape the news or whatever, you know, like even when you go to the supermarket nowadays. So they've got this TV up there and it's kind of like I'm looking up at it and they're telling me something that matters, you know, something horrible that absolutely doesn't, if I don't have that in my awareness, it would not, there's no value for me to know that someone hurt themselves or Do you know what I'm saying? It's not of value to me. Like, why do we have to continue to put into our awareness all of these awful, horrible things? We know we need to find out what's happening and we need to shut it down. And we need to take care of our inner space and our, switch off the radio. I had the radio on the other day, which I never do. And I'm just thinking, do people actually listen to this? Oh, I think people actually listen to the radio. So anyway, these are all choices. And to me, it sounds like you've made some one incredible choice that is just extrapolated out. Yeah.
Yes.
So beautiful. Okay. Now, so I think that none of those questions even matter at all to you, because look at you, you're a shining light. And tell me what you're excited about. Like, even if lockdown does happen again, you are, of course, in TRUEBROW business, and we're going into the whole digital side of beauty business and whatever. And I wanted to do that for some time, so I'm excited, and a few other little things that we've got that we're sharing. But really, honestly, I mean, how are you feeling, Lucy, about that? I know that before you were saying that you don't want it to happen, but if it did happen...
If it did, it'll be fine. Like, you just have to deal with it. And again, it'll be out of my control, and so you've just got to go with the flow. And, if it did, it wouldn't be ideal, but then you've got more time to direct your focus, again, go, okay, so what are we going to be looking like when we come out of this? What do I need to do to get there? And luckily, there is the Zoom and meetings, and there's a lot that we can do online now, isn't there? We're not stuck at home insular.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And I think that one of the biggest things for me, and I love saying this to you, all of you, is the minute you resist something, you're locking yourself down. So stop the resistance. Stop judging the world. Stop judging the virus. Stop judging other people. Like, don't resist anything. The minute you start to go into resistance of things, you are in terrible strife, because you're actually locking your inner life down. And that beautiful, inspirational, real you that you found, that you have access to, she's always been there, right? Always been there. Actually, I remember in the masterclass when I was talking about something. Must have been something like the real you or something, and fear and doubt and whatever. We're going through that. And I remember you looking at me, and you were just looking at me, and I thought, is she confused? But now, as I got to know you, I realized that you were like so in, like you loved it. It's kind of like you've been looking for this your whole life, and it's like you found it, Lucy, in yourself. You really are unlocking these incredible little pieces of the puzzle that fulfill us. I can see fulfillment all over you. And right now, as I said earlier, in the universe, we can tune in to a level of purity and goodness that is not stopping. It's just flooding our universe. It's here, and we can tune into that just like we tune into a radio station, but we only do that when we get quiet. The hamster can never do that. It's too busy running on its little wheel, right, to consider anything else. So it's kind of that lovely, the code that you found. Like, there's codes to everything here. There's a code to walking, there's a code to riding a bike, there's a code to whatever, right? And there's a code to accessing that real you. And that is the quiet, the non-judgment, the, no resistance, just, it's okay. The world doesn't have to change for us to have access to the real you, us, real us, whatever. How can we say that? So is there anything else you would like to share, Lucy, about your experience? Anything that sort of stuck out to you? Any sort of wisdom that you would like to share with us?
I'd love to have some wisdom to throw out there, but nothing's popping into my mind right now. But, look, it doesn't have to be all bad and negative, Yes. It's just, and enjoy, 6 weeks at home, it wasn't that bad. Yeah. I've got a lovely partner, I've got fantastic kids. We got out there and painted fences and stained and cleaned out the hallway linen cupboard, all those silly things that you need to do but never do. So, could sort of not only do we have the big change, but then all of a sudden, you got back to work and home was completely sorted too. Like, you make the most of that time that you wouldn't get to do those other things in. So
I love that.
get
So,
outside and clean the car.
yeah, it's on wash the car.
Yeah.
You know, that's so beautiful, and I think that that energy and the energy opens up when you stop fighting against losing, you know, the control. Like when you drop your own personal, what you think the world should be like, that drains you, that exhausts you. So then, you know, you're getting depressed, you're getting negative, you know, you're watching all the news. Like the flip has to happen. It's an inside job. The flip has to happen internally. You have to make that, you know, you've got to just turn around and go, yeah, no, not today, not today. Beautiful, so beautiful. It's beautiful just connecting with you. I know that so many women are going to get so much value out of this, and it really does matter, the people that we have around us, you know, in this life, doesn't it? It really
Yes.
does matter. Like
Surround yourself with great people.
yeah, I think it's so important, and people that are healthy for our mental health, and they're not always going to agree with us. They're going to challenge us. They're going to tell us things that we might think, well, I don't know if I believe that, but at least we're working internally at looking at things. We're not just these robots that are just going and going and going and never ever stopping to reflect or contemplate or take a moment to go, well, hang on a minute, what's happening? And we stop blaming. That's another big one, isn't it? We stop blaming the outside world for our situation. We stop blaming others. We really stop. And in the state that you're in, this is our final thing. You're in a state where you have the capacity, which I can see, you have the capacity to look within and take responsibility. Like there's more room, isn't there? You're more expanded in your inner life. You know, like when we're contracting, like on that hamster wheel, if someone says something to us, we're just reacting because we've got no space.
Yeah.
But now if your children come to you, you're available.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, I want everyone to get that. I want you to see how beautiful that is. So if I'm sort of like, if I've contracted around something and Toby says something to me, I can be reactive. But it's not because of what he said. It's never about the other person. It's because I've contracted. So when I'm not that, when I allow myself to be real, like as Lucy's been sharing with us today, you can see it, look at her, she can't take the smile off her face, and absolutely crazy. The world is crazy all the time. It's just that we're seeing it and knowing it more now, to be honest with you. When has it ever not been crazier? It really is allowing yourself to drop that personal will, accept what's occurring, you know, and just rest and get that access, because it makes you so unlimited. Your potential, you access it, and you have more room, you're more available, you're a safe space. You're not looking for safety outside of yourself. You become the safe space for the people that you love in your world and in your life, including your team members, your children, your husband. Someone once said that to me, and I love that he said that to me, one of my mentors. He said to me, that I needed to become the safe space instead of looking for safety in others. And I'm paraphrasing because I always do. If Toby was here, he would say it exactly perfectly. Let me just say, here is like an encyclopedia, who remembers everything. But he was there, and that really, I didn't understand that when I was told that, really. I kind of thought, what about the safety of, you know, other people being nice to me? But now I completely and fully understand it, that, you know, that's what the substance, like a woman of substance who's access to her realness, she's the safe space. She becomes the safe space. She doesn't have to look for safety outside, where it doesn't exist anyway, because I don't know about you, Lucy, but have you found safe space out there? I don't really. No. I haven't. The world is really highlighting it for us right now. So it's kind of like we become that safe space. And I think that that's what I'm seeing in you. I'm seeing that, like, so much, and I love it. That's why I wanted to do this interview, because I want everyone else to see it too and see what's possible. We need to always see what's possible. We need to look beyond at where we are right now and look and go, wow, is that possible? Never thought of that. So it's very beautiful. Thanks, Lucy, for giving us your beautiful time. It's precious. I know you've realised how precious your time is, obviously, because you've made some big changes. And I want to continue. Obviously, I'm going to continue finding out how you're going, and I know that you're just going to go from strength to strength. And maybe it's time to look for another code. Never know, you might lock another door. How about that?
Sounds great.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
everyone. Thank you for your beautiful presence and being with us today. And I want to thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, any comments, you're always welcome to let us know. You can follow us on TRUEBROW. We've got lots of stuff happening there. You can follow me in Power Shift on my page. You can follow me wherever you want to. You just go find me. I'm everywhere. Don't worry about that. That is fantastic. Thank you so much. Take care and bye for now.